Ever wonder how you can gain more control and add more creativity to your vocal performance? I have the secret ingredient. And by the end of this video, you'll have my foolproof formula for elevating and controlling your voice for greater flexibility and versatility. This is the key to all things voice. Welcome to part 2 of the Vocal Power Bootcamp. In this video, we're diving into the first and most important category of the Vocal Power 12, breath. I know it sounds really simple, and you're probably saying, I'm breathing already. Right, you are breathing for life, but breathing for voice is a little bit different. And if you really want to be able to control your voice, it's all about how you play with the air. I'm going to reveal some really healthy things you can do to totally change the sound of your voice. And it changes it really quickly too, because I've completely changed the sound of my voice by changing the way I breathe and by the way I use breath. For the best tips, tools, and techniques about voice, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified each time I upload a new video every week. There are 2 specific instances I want to share with you when I became aware of my improper breathing habits. The first was I was producing this healthcast segment for the news, and I was interviewing this exercise physiologist. Now, in the middle of our conversation, he said to me, "Cindy, why are you holding your breath?" And I was like, "I'm not holding my breath." He goes, "Yeah, you're holding your breath." And I said, "Dude, I'm not holding my breath. How could I be holding my breath? I'm sitting here talking to you." And he said, "I noticed that you hold your breath when you're listening. So it may be the reason why you're having some of these headaches, So just kind of pay attention to it and let me know what you think next week. Just pay attention to your breathing habits." So I thought, okay, I'll try it. I'll pay attention and see what happens. I mean, I can't possibly be holding my breath all the time. So I paid attention to my breathing habits over the next week, and guess what? He was right. I was holding my breath. And when I became more aware of it, then I could just kind of relax, take a breath, and move on. But I really was holding my breath a lot. That was kind of crazy. I don't know how I slipped into that horrible habit. Now, the second time I became aware of this, I was hosting this talk show, and it hurt me to talk. So I sought the help of a vocal coach. By the way, shout out to Joan Kinley in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thank you, Joan, for all you did to help me. Anyway, it hurt me to talk, and I started working with her. I found out that I was breathing improperly, and it was like one thing was causing another. In addition to falling back into that old habit of holding my breath, I just wasn't able to take a full breath before I would say something. And so for several months, as I worked with her, I just had to learn how to breathe again. And breathing from the lower abdomen completely changed the sound of my voice. Not only did it change the sound of my voice, but it got rid of a lot of the tension that I was carrying in my neck and upper back and my shoulders. I was able to relax. And as I began to relax, my voice, the pitch of it, was lowered, and it sounded warmer, and it sounded more resonant. And it was just like the most amazing thing, because I didn't even realize that I was not breathing properly, or I wasn't even taking a full breath. And so I kind of had to relearn that whole process. Yes, I was alive. I was inhaling and exhaling, but I wasn't doing it fully, and I wasn't doing it correctly. So those were 2 specific instances where I realized that I had fallen into some bad habits concerning the control of my breath, and I had to change them. The best part of this was it opened up the doors for me to start working in voiceover, and it has totally changed everything. Literally got rid of the headaches, all of the tension in my upper back and in my neck, sore throat was gone. And it was really interesting because when I used to talk up here like this, I was always stressed and strained. Now the pitch is a little bit lower, and I have a warmer, clearer sounding tone. It was great. It was just fascinating to learn that I was breathing incorrectly. You just don't even think that that's something that you could do. But it turns out that I did, and when I made the adjustments, everything changed. Not only the sound of my voice, but I just felt better overall. And I learned that as you're inhaling and you're oxygenating your blood, what it does is it calms you down, but at the same time, it gives you energy. And that was just the coolest feeling. So I was so glad and so grateful that I was able to learn that. And years later, when I became a vocal coach, it's always the first thing that I teach. Whether I'm working with a storyteller, a voiceover artist, a motivational speaker, a minister, a rapper, it doesn't matter. How you use your breath is the most important thing. It is the foundation of your voice. So you really have to make sure that you're taking good, full, deep breaths and that you're able to control that air as you exhale and speak. The best voice comes out of a calm and relaxed body. And that is one thing I have had to pay attention to over the years so that I don't slip back into those bad habits. But it's something I do have to pay attention to on the regular so that I don't. So if you can breathe properly, that's one thing that can help you immediately have a better voice. So the relaxed body allows you to settle into your natural, comfortable pitch range, which prevents you from stressing or straining your vocal tract, either too high or too low. So breathing really is the foundation of voice, and it is absolutely critical to having the best, clearest, warmest, most resonant voice you can possibly produce. Have you ever had an issue with improper breathing? You might not even be aware of it. Maybe you were holding your breath like I was, or maybe you're not just taking a full, deep breath. Post a note in the comments, let me know. I'd love to be able to help you. You can also check out a video I did called How Your Voice Works. And in that video, there's a breathing exercise that can change the sound of your voice with a quickness. And it's very relaxing and very calming. So in the beginning of this video, I promised you the secret to a great voice. And if you can't tell now by my 2 improper breathing stories, it's really all about your breath control. The secret to a great voice is in the power of your breath. It is the most powerful vocal element you have, and literally it is the easiest and quickest thing you can do to improve the sound of your voice. Now, breath is the first category of the Vocal Power 12, and it stands alone as a category because of its importance in the foundation of your voice and its relationship to all the other vocal elements. Breath is the reason you have a voice, and it is the foundation of how you sound. It gives you the ability to create different sounds so that you have more versatility, more flexibility, and more control. Your voice is all about playing with air. The more control you have of that air on the exhalation, the more control you have of your voice. Breath is the most important vocal element you have, so let's learn how to use it really efficiently and effectively. So as promised, here's my foolproof method for elevating and controlling your voice for greater flexibility and versatility. It is 3 parts, well, 3 components. They're not really separate, they all work together. It's breathe, inhale, relax, exhale, and yawn. So I'm going to walk you through these 3 steps so that you can have a great breath vocal warm-up. Now, this is not a full vocal warm-up, but the key to a great voice is to have a good breath warm-up so that you can have a clear, resonant sounding voice. And at the end of this, I'm going to give you a couple examples of how you can use breath to create interesting character traits and personalities. The great thing about this breath warm-up is that it does give you quick and immediate results. So if you're going to have a vocal performance, you do want to do this. But the thing is, you want to be able to have a great voice all the time. So the longer you do this, the longer your warm-up will last. Don't worry, it won't take long, but I do suggest you do it every day so that you can have those long-lasting results. You can do some of this while you're doing other things, so it's not a great time drain. The first part is breathe, inhale. Now, inhalation is part of your respiration, but this is not like breathing for life. This is breathing for a voice and especially a vocal performance. So you want to have a clear, strong, resonant voice and strong enough breath power to sustain you through that performance. Now, the first thing you want to do is get in the proper position. Unless you know how to do lower body breathing, which I do explain in the video I created called How Your Voice Works. Take a look at that if you get an opportunity. But I'm going to explain the process here. So you want to be in a supine position. A supine position means you're just laying flat on your back. I suggest the floor because it's really stable and it's a secure surface. A lot of vocal coaches will tell you to breathe from the diaphragm, but the diaphragm is going to be engaged regardless because it's the primary muscle of inhalation. But I want to show you how to do some lower body breathing so you can take a full, deep breath all the time. And it allows you to use your entire torso as like a resonant cavity, which gives you that great, strong, powerful voice. So to find your sweet spot, lie flat on your back on the floor and put your hand below your belly button. I can promise you, your sweet spot is probably going to be below the belly button. Now what you want to do is you're looking for the apex of the breath. So when you inhale, there's going to be a spot where it's the highest point of your body that rises when you take a breath in. That's your sweet spot. So you just want to take a deep breath in and see where that apex is. Put your hand there so you'll know where it is when you stand up. This is your spot, the sweet spot. This is where you want to breathe from. I know it's lower than the diaphragm, but trust me on this. You also always want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, because the cilia, the little hair that's in your nose, it will filter and warm the air, so it makes it easier for the body to process. Find the lowest part of your rib cage, and you want to be able to expand all the way around your body when you take this breath in. So sometimes it's good for you to just put a little pressure on the lower rib cage when you take that breath out. Keep in mind where your sweet spot is, drop your shoulders and relax. The next part is relax and exhale. So when you take that breath in from the lower abdomen, you've got a little bit of pressure on your lower rib cage. You take a breath in and you relax the shoulders and the upper body, no tension whatsoever. Your shoulders are not going to rise, your chest is not going to rise. You're just going to take that breath in and you're going to blow it out through your mouth. There are going to be 4 cycles. You're going to inhale through the lower body, expanding the rib cage. And when you exhale to the count of 4, the first exhale, you're going to gently blow air out of your mouth. The second exhale, you're going to sigh to the count of 4. The third exhale, you're going to hiss to the count of 4. And the fourth exhale, you're going to buzz to the count of 4. So here's how it goes. You're going to take a deep breath in through the lower body, expanding your rib cage. Drop the shoulders, keep the upper body relaxed. Take a breath in. Exhale to the count of 4. Next one, we're going to take inhale, and we're going to exhale to ah. Ah. Next one, exhale on the hiss. Next one, exhale on the buzz. So you want to make sure when you exhale, it's a strong exhale. Ah. Another great benefit of this type of breathing, this lower body breathing, is you're fully oxygenating your bloodstream, which calms the body down, but yet gives you energy. It's the greatest feeling to have a calm but energized body. I suggest doing these warm-ups every day, because the more often you do them and the more consistently you do them, your warm-up will last longer. The first week, you're going to exhale to a count of 4. The next week, you're going to increase it by 2. So it's going to be exhaling to a count of 6. The third week, you're going to exhale to a count of 8. So each week, you're adding 2 more counts. This is going to be great because what you're doing is clearing your lungs. You take air in, and when you exhale, you're pushing all that carbon dioxide out, and it makes a more efficient use of your respiratory system. Yawning is the third component of this. Now, this is a combination inhale and exhale. Yawning is really great for your voice because one of the things it does is when you yawn, it opens up the back of your throat. You kind of lift that soft palate. The soft palate is the soft area at the roof of your mouth near the back. Inhaling allows you to take in a bunch of air really quickly. It's the way the body has of waking itself up. But then when you exhale, make sure you vocalize on that exhale. Yawning is really good for the voice. Nice ah. Stay relaxed. The best voice comes out of a relaxed body. Here's a way that you can use breath when you're creating character traits or different character personalities. You can make someone sound totally exasperated or frustrated by just using your breath. Ah, you're just so annoying. Ah, do we have to have chicken for dinner every night? Ah, you don't have to spend that much money on eating out. You can also sound really excited. It's amazing. That's a great job. Or you can sound anxious by using breath. Oh my God, I can't wait for this to be over. What are we going to do when we get to the end of this? A character can use breath to sound angry, passionate, emotional, helpless, crazy, or even sexy. Play with breath to see what you can do with your characters. I've created a breath power guide to help you that has all the notes on this 3-part method. Breathe, inhale, relax, exhale, and yawn. If you'd like it, there's a link in the description. The secret to a great voice is the use of breath and how you control it. It truly is your secret superpower. Now that you know how important breath is to speech, the sound of your voice, and creating characters, why not do a little experiment with me this week and just see what you can create if there's some type of character that you can use by just manipulating your breath, right? Breathing really fast, breathing slowly, adding more pressure, adding more volume, adding emphasis. All those things you can do and you can control with your breath. Maybe you speak and you just breathe a lot in between, and that can make you create a really nervous sounding character. So give it a try this week. Post in the comments and let me know what you come up with. Love to be able to hear it. And as I mentioned earlier, just take a minute every now and again through the next week and just pay attention to how you use your breath. Are you holding your breath? Are you taking a good, full, deep breath before you speak? Because if you need to make adjustments, it's a good time to become aware of it so that you can make adjustments. If you'd like to join a community of other vocal artists where I share tips, tools, and techniques for a greater voice, check out the Voice and Speech Collab Lab on Facebook. Please feel free to take advantage of any and all of these resources. I created them for you. Now, in the next video, part 3 of the Vocal Power Bootcamp, I'm going into great detail on pitch. Pitch is the second category. It also stands alone, so be sure and check that out too. If this video was helpful, be sure to hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. There's lots more to come in the Vocal Power Bootcamp series. So stick around and I'll see you in the next one.